Every year in the NFL, it's a new team. As far as goals go, we have one. Putting a f***ing ring on our finger.
Welcome to the Buccaneers Observer Podcast. This is Ralph Phillips.
I'm Molly Bay.
Today is September 1st, 2021. It's football month, and we have 8 days until kickoff. How about that? How about them apples?
It's just so exciting. It's the first day. It's kickoff. Like normally we have kickoff and then we gotta wait 4 days for the Bucs to play.
Yeah, right. Yeah, this is it, man. We're kicking the league off. Boom.
And I'm kind of excited, like football Sunday, the first week.
We get to chill out and watch everybody else.
Yeah, we can watch everybody else.
Yeah, we're going to cover that. We're going to cover some of the stuff that's happening that Sunday. I've got a great podcast for you today. We are going to go over the Texans game just a little bit, just a smidge, because we missed doing that Monday podcast. I was a little under the weather. It was not coronavirus related, we don't think. Didn't get tested. Molly did a couple of weeks ago. You went and got tested. We had the same issue. You had this. It was more of a headache thing. Mm-hmm. And then you went and got tested, came back negative, and then was this a week, 2 weeks later, I get the same symptoms, and I was just like, I'm fine. Just struggle through it.
Yeah. I don't know what it's some kind of funky thing.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. It's weird.
So I was under the weather a little bit, and Molly was like, let's just not do it. We'll do it the next one. So we apologize for that. Then we got the roster moves that the Buccaneers have done. Lots to talk about there. Interesting stuff. We've got some Bucs news not pertaining to the roster. We have some NFC South news, pretty big news too. And then stuff around the league. So we're going to pretty much touch on everything. We're going to have to try and go quick so we don't have a 2-hour podcast.
I know.
But first and foremost, we got to get the fun stuff out of the way. Fact checks and follow-ups. First one, actually all of them, for the most part, have to do with our opponent coming up in the Week 1 game, the Dallas Cowboys. Follow-up, I had asked, where did the moniker come from, America's team, with the Dallas Cowboys? That was pretty interesting. It was attributed by NFL Films, did it. Bob Ryan, he was the former editor-in-chief who later became vice president of NFL Films. He was putting together a Dallas Cowboys season highlight reel in 1978. And he needed to write some narration. So during the editing process, he noticed that in the road games, there were a lot of people in stands wearing Cowboys gear, hats and jerseys and such. So he decided right then and there to start calling them America's team. He later told this to the NFL Network. He said, I saw all these fans in away stadiums. And he said, hey, they're the most popular team in the country. How can I use that? Why not just call them America's team? And this is true. This is true. The Dallas Cowboys probably are the most prolific fan base in the NFL. I used to do some work selling NFL merchandise nationwide, internationally, actually. And the Dallas Cowboys were by far the most sought after thing. They had the most. They were the number one by quite a bit. Now, the funny thing was they bought a lot of merchandise, but I think it was the Denver Broncos fans that actually spent the most. Very strange. Yeah, there was a lot more Cowboy fans than there was any other fan base, but the Denver Broncos fans spent more per person. So
they were the most generous. So I wonder if that guy I bet he was a Cowboys fan. I'm just saying.
We need to look that up. Mm-hmm. That would be funny to find out. Well, back then.
Well, he would probably never say.
Yeah, so,
would be my thought.
Yeah, you'd have to really probably dig deep. This is back before social media, so you'd have to interview friends and family or maybe catch a picture of him wearing some Cowboys gear. But, when I was growing up, the first Super Bowl I really remember watching that was a big event for me was the Dallas Cowboys, Pittsburgh Steelers. And I was a fan of both teams' players. I really liked Tom Landry, the coach for the Dallas Cowboys. Roger Staubach was my favorite quarterback. You had, God, who was the running back? Oh my gosh, can't remember, but I liked him. But then on the Pittsburgh Steelers, I liked the Lynn Swann. Their defense with the Iron Curtain or Steel Curtain was just really, they were just loaded with guys that were awesome. I was more of a player person than a team person. So the Dallas Cowboys and the Pittsburgh Steelers were everywhere back then. They were the big teams. And, you know, if you watched football, you ended up watching the Dallas Cowboys and Pittsburgh Steelers because they were on everything. So I could see where, you know, that's really when they built their fan bases.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Plus the cheerleaders.
Speaking of which, that's the next fact check.
We didn't even plan that. Organic, completely.
Yes. This is a fact check. I had said that the Cowboys cheerleaders had never changed their uniforms. That was incorrect. They've been a part of the National Football League history since 1961, and back then they were known as the Cowbells and Boys, spelled B-E-A-U-X. Boys? Boys? Bows? Oh, okay, maybe it's Cowbells and Bows. How about that? Yeah. What did I say? Cowboys and Bows?
Yeah.
Boys. Today's Cowboys cheerleaders uniforms of a blue star-spangled vest, white shorts, and boots was designed by Paula Van Wagner in 1972. And they were the first to introduce choreographed dance routines.
Oh, yeah. Interesting.
They required.
I wonder if that's what made them so popular.
I think it was the uniforms. The dance.
I don't know. They're like shaking their stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like that, too.
I mean, it was a lot of physical training, hours of choreography and stuff like that. You know, the cheerleaders that do it now, they have to do all that. And most of them don't get paid. But they do get a lot of bennies. Anyhow, 3 years later, the cheerleaders appeared in the 1975 Super Bowl and became famous across the nation. So in 2016, they were still using, you know, they've kept the colors, the blue and the white, but they changed the blue slightly. But they're still using the same cloth they bought in bulk in the 1970s for their uniforms. Nice. They had to rebuy the blue once, and it's slightly a different
Good
color
God,
now.
How much did they buy?
Apparently,
Whoa.
a lot. Yeah.
Where do they store it?
In Jerry Jones's garage.
I know.
Probably.
I was just thinking that. Ew. He's so weird.
But they have adjusted their uniforms throughout the years. As a matter of fact, in the 90s, they went beltless. They had a little, they were like, the shorts were a lot tighter and they had a V cut in the front of them. Mm-hmm. But then they had no belt. And they used to wear cowboy boots, which they don't anymore. Or at least they stopped in the 90s. There's been all kinds of small adjustments, you know, rhinestones and stuff like that. But for the most part, they've kept the uniform the same. So it's a fact check, but it's a minor fact check.
So did you do a lot of research on that?
A lot of research, man, you know. Fortunately, I didn't have to read a lot. It was visual. I'm a visual learner, especially when it comes to the cheerleaders. All right, follow up. We play the Saints in week 8. We couldn't remember if it was week 6 or week 8. So we have week 8 now. There's plenty of time for a starting quarterback change to happen there between Jameis Winston and what's his face?
And we play in week 7.
What?
I have the calendar right here. I don't know why I didn't look at that. Our bye week is week 8. But we play New Orleans in week 7.
Is it
Halloween.
game 7 or week?
Week 7. Yeah, game 7.
Okay.
Our bye week is week 8.
Okay.
You know, I should have done that
out?
in real time. I don't remember. I don't know why I didn't.
Yeah, well, I'd kind of mumbled it on my breath. I was like, is it week 6 or week 8?
Yeah. Neither.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a Monday night? Or no, it's a Sunday game. Okay. Yeah.
Interesting. So it's week 7. How did I get it wrong twice?
I don't know.
Yeah. So anyhow, we'll talk about that later. The Saints starting quarterback.
I know there's a lot of time for, you know, I don't know that in the last episode, did we talk about Jameis winning the starting job?
No, it hadn't happened.
Okay, it hadn't happened. I think it happened the next day or something.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we played the Texans, and the Saints played the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mm-hmm. Both teams suck. The Texans are horrible, and the Jacksonville Jaguars are absolutely horrible. And we both pulled out wins. Our team, I thought, looked pretty good. Our starters.
Wow. So the starting offense, that first drive, they went 3 and out, which that was a little discouraging to me. But then those next 2 drives, whoa. Like, they were just incredible. I was like, I can't even, like, they were just a well-oiled machine and just crushed it. It's like that first drive, they were just kind of probing a little or, and it, wow. And those other 2 drives, though, just kind of blew me away. Yeah, two 90-yard drives for scores, for touchdowns. So, it wasn't field goals. Mm-hmm. And they were just executed very well, which is what I expect to see all season long. We got to remember last year, these guys didn't have preseason. They didn't have any preseason games. They were the first 4 or 5 games where our offense was trying to learn how to work together. And we had added some parts, and they were trying to see where they fit in the system and everything. So, it wasn't until later in the season when our offense started clicking. And I fully expect this year for our offense to come out and just be like that every game. Highly oiled, very aggressive, high scoring. Although we were the high scoring last year. I mean, we were scoring 40-plus points on the regular. It wasn't nothing for us. I fully expect that this year, but more better. More better. But we also got to keep in mind, this is the Texans. Lovie
Smith's defense was out there. And
well,
it's new.
They did okay against our second, third string, fourth string.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they made some plays against us, so that was a little unnerving. To me, there's a huge drop-off in talent between our first string and our second string. The only thing that is more comforting to me is that the whole second string is never going to be on the field together. Like, they'll be filling in as needed, rotational guys. So it's not really that big of a thing, but it's definitely a very stark contrast when you're watching one unit play and play very, very well at a very high level. And then the next unit comes on and they do not play that way. Yeah. Like, it was like watching Blaine Gabbert. It was just like, oh my God, I hope he's never on the field ever for anything, ever. Don't even let him go, like, congratulate people afterwards. Like, it was so awful. Never let him on the field. I don't get it. I don't know why. I mean, I know he's BA's guy. He must be great in the locker room, but I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with you.
It was scary, a little frightening.
I was not happy when he came here. At Jacksonville, he was a mess, I thought. And we got him, and I was like, ugh, as long as we keep him in third string, I'll be happy.
Well, and he was at San Francisco, too, where him and Cap were fighting for a job.
Yep. Yeah, he lost his job to Cap later in the season that year, right? And then Cap came out, and he stank it up.
Yeah, well, I think Cap got injured and then lost his job to Blaine Gabbert. Like, I think Blaine came in, played okay.
We've discussed this multiple times throughout the years. Yeah.
I know.
And we still can't remember.
I know. But, I don't ever want to see him start on the field.
No, well, this is true for any number of reasons, but yeah, not impressed with him at all. And, we got to remember these guys, we've got pretty good depth. I'm happy with our depth. But they're not out there playing against other teams. They practice together. They've never played together in a game. So it's a big difference.
Yeah.
With the second, third stringer guys. So it's really just about evaluating individual performances at that point.
Mm-hmm. I listened to Ian Buckles accidentally the other night. I had my podcast playing, and his just happened to be the next one up. I haven't listened to him probably in 2 years. I think, since Jameis, I think. And I listened to him, and, he used to be a player, so he understands the game. He's got a definite unique perspective. And he was talking about with the preseason, he's not worried about our first string. He said he was really happy with what he saw. But it was interesting that he was kind of criticizing teams who did not let their veterans play at all, because he said, you have to get those reps to warm up. You have to get back into game speed. And he specifically talked about Dak Prescott. Now, I have a little bit of a fact check on myself. We had talked about Dak Prescott's injury, and he is currently suffering from a shoulder injury, but that's not what took him out of last season. I completely forgotten about this, but he broke his ankle just like Vita did, and that's what took him out of the season. But Ian Beckles was talking about how he has not played since week 5. So he has that ankle that he had to get surgery on and recovered there. Then he is dealing with a shoulder injury, which that is a baseball injury. I don't know why these guys play other sports in the off season when you get hurt. Remember Connor Barthwell? I mean, that ended his career basically. Playing basketball, tore his ACL and was out, and he didn't play for the Bucs anymore. But he was talking about how you have Dak Prescott, who has not played since week 5. He's recovering from injury, and you do not play him during the regular season or during the preseason, and you're just going to throw him into a game week 1 and expect him to win against Tom Brady. Like, that is the most ridiculous game plan. I think, like, who came up with that idea? They need to be fired immediately.
The ex-Packers coach.
Yeah.
I think he's horrible. He's
absolutely,
yeah.
He's not good. So I was glad. Yeah, I was glad that our veterans did see the field, even if it was limited. 3 drives is what they had.
I thought it was great. We came out with no injuries. Everybody's. I mean, there were a couple guys that got banged up a little bit, but they're fine. We've gone through this whole offseason with no injuries. That's awesome. And plus, they got some time to get out there and sink and hit each other and tackle. Yeah, very, very happy with it.
Well, NBA said that they were going to stay out for the whole first half, and they didn't. They pulled them early.
Yeah, he was
that's a great sign.
Yeah, he said they did better than he expected. So
why keep them out there?
It
didn't make any sense to do that. So
yeah, we didn't take any notes from that game, and I haven't rewatched it. Have you rewatched it?
No.
Yeah. So
Ralph has not been feeling well.
Yeah, it seems like there's probably a bunch of stuff we're missing talking about. And when I do rewatch it, I'll be like,
yeah. Maybe by the next podcast we'll talk about it again.
Yeah. So that leads us into what's up with the team. The cuts were yesterday, and Molly has got all that, right?
I do. So I'm just going to run down the list, and then we can talk about what we think, maybe pick out a few surprises that we noticed. We waived tackle Jake Benzinger, who we had just brought him in a couple weeks ago. Cyril Grayson, Javon Hagan, outside linebacker Ladarius Hamilton, Jonathan Hubbard, Tanner Hudson, Travis Jonsen, Herb Miller, Codey McElroy, Elijah Ponder, Benning Patoa. I'm so glad I will never, ever have to say that name again, I hope.
I got some bad news for you then.
Oh, no. Defensive lineman Kobe Smith, tackle Brandon Walton, cornerback Chris Wilcox. We waived with an injury designation Brad Seaton. Recall, if you will, Brad held out last year. He opted out for COVID.
Oh, that's right.
So then we also released tight end Jarrell Adams, Ryan Griffin, cornerback Antonio Hamilton. I'm so sad about this one. Inside linebacker Joe Jones, defensive lineman Jeremiah Ledbetter, Jaden Mickens, running back CJ Procease. And then we also put Justin Watson on the PUP list.
Oh.
Yes. Which he has not played all preseason. He
really?
hasn't. You didn't even miss him.
Yeah.
Apparently. You didn't even notice.
God, we were so stacked at wide receiver.
Okay. I think the biggest surprise not surprised, is Tanner Hudson.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think what's even more surprising is that we're only carrying 3 tight ends on the roster.
Yes, very surprising because, we normally carry 4. So we need to figure out where that extra guy is going to go. Is he going to be inside linebacker? That's what I would think. But
interesting. We'll have to look at the, yeah.
Now, right now, the roster is not set because we have guys on the COVID list and stuff that are going to be coming back, so more cuts are coming.
Oh, yeah. You want to talk about those? Because I don't know that we talked about those yet. Or we can cover that in news.
Yeah, we'll cover. Well, yeah, go ahead and talk about it.
Okay.
The only one I know of right offhand is Sue.
Yeah, so it was Sue, offensive lineman Nick Leverett, and Earl Watford.
Okay.
And in fact, Earl Watford tweeted and said that he is vaccinated.
Okay. So does that mean Sue and them aren't?
I don't know. Earl Watford just happened. I think he commented on, oh no, it was on his own Twitter account.
Okay.
And he just said big vaxxed. Shout out to Pfizer.
Okay.
So,
so they're on the COVID list right now. I think they're coming off of it today or tomorrow, right?
I think it's like as soon as they get 2 negative tests, they can come back.
I know it's different if you're vaccinated or unvaccinated. Vaccinated is 5 days or something. Unvaccinated, you can come back within 24 hours if you have 2 negative tests.
Oh,
something.
maybe that's it.
Yeah, I can't remember. But anyhow, the point being we got 3 players that are coming back, most likely. Well, we know Sue's coming back. So that means they're going to have to cut somebody on the team now. So there's potentially 3 more players that are going to be cut to keep us under 53. Right now we have 57 or 56.
Okay.
If you include the COVID guys. So whenever they come back, other people are going to have to be released.
Make more moves.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But right now we have done, yes, Tanner Hudson, we said he was probably going to get cut. It was going to be between him and McElroy. But come to find out, they just cut both of them.
They cut both of them.
I know. Shocked me. I was like, what?
Yeah. Well, I like our talent at tight end, and I'm not upset about the 3 tight end. I don't care.
O.J. Howard?
Yeah, no. What I'm saying is he's good. I mean, he's serviceable.
He's serviceable.
For the time being, while he's not injured. I'm like, okay. Like, I mean, in theory, we have 3 stud tight ends.
In theory.
In theory.
On paper. Yeah.
Yeah. So even if we just have the 2 with Gronk and Cam Brate, I'm fine with those 2. I like those 2. So I think I don't care. Like maybe we pull in an extra offensive lineman every now and then, as long as it's not Josh Wells. I'm fine with that. So I'm happy. I'm happy with the decision. It's a little odd, I think, but
yeah, it caught everybody by surprise.
Yeah.
Now, Antonio Hamilton, that one did surprise me. That was one of their first cuts. Here's a veteran who played well in the offseason or the preseason, but not having access to the all-22, you can't see what actually happens. All you see is the end of the play, basically. So we don't know if he was doing what he was supposed to do, or he was going against second, third stringers anyhow, and he was a vet, so maybe he didn't stand out as much as they wanted, or who knows. But it did surprise me because I thought he played very well.
Well, I think they had other guys that they really liked. D. Delaney, he made the roster, and that was kind of a surprise, but I think he played well in that last game and really got their attention. So at that point, he may have edged Antonio Hamilton out.
Yeah, and it seems like we lean, and I think most teams do this, we lean more towards our draft picks, rather than free agents. So.
Was D. Delaney a draft pick?
No.
Oh, okay.
But it's a, we only keep 5 cornerbacks. So, we're going to keep our draft picks, and you have to really outshine by a lot in order to unseat your drafted guys, and all of our cornerbacks are drafted guys. So you're not gonna unseat them easily. So we had Joe Tryon was our first round pick, Kyle Trask 2nd round pick, Robert Hainsley 3rd round pick, Jalen Darden 4th round pick, KJ Britt 5th round pick, Chris Wilcox 7th round pick, Grant Stewart, Mr. Irrelevant.
I had no idea Chris Wilcox was a 7th round pick.
Yep, 251. He was way back there.
Okay.
We've kept all of them except Chris Wilcox, who we cut, and he was immediately claimed by the Indianapolis Colts. We were probably going to put him on the practice squad.
Dang.
Yeah.
Tanner Hudson got picked up by the 49ers practice squad.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Okay. I was wondering what that just happened?
Yes.
Okay.
A while ago.
Now, Ledbetter, that's one that shocked me. I was surprised by that one. And, I haven't heard.
We were big fans last year.
Yeah. Yeah. He plays well when he comes in. He doesn't play a whole lot, but when he comes in, he plays well. So, that kind of surprised me. And it surprised me that nobody's picked him up. And he hasn't been placed on our practice squad and most likely won't be at this point. And, I'd hate for it to just be one of those where you just never hear from him again. He's just gone.
Man, but that happens every year. There's always a few,
Always.
It's very upsetting.
Yes.
Javon Hagan has not been put on the practice squad, which I was surprised because he did really well in the last preseason game. His stats were pretty ridiculous. Let me see. I had a tweet here. He had, in the last game, Greg Auman said he had 5 tackles, a sack, and a forced fumble. And then a special teams tackle.
Who was that?
Javon Hagan, which he was on our practice squad last year. He came up, he moved up a few times when we were dealing with injuries.
He was a leading tackler in preseason.
I know, but we cut him.
Yeah, it's very strange. There's a lot of strange stuff that happened with our team that was kind of unexpected to a lot of people. Like I said, Tanner Hudson and McElroy getting cut. Antonio Hamilton, I don't know if everybody was expecting him to make the team, at least practice squad, but we were.
Yeah.
And then Ledbetter. And that was just what? Kind of out of nowhere. So, and again, we don't know all the inside stuff. We don't know if these guys practice well or aren't good for the locker room, or they just got somebody else they like better.
Yeah. Another one was Jaden Mickens that we lost. That one kind of surprised me, especially when he had been on the depth chart as the starter at returner. Yeah. So that was a little surprising, but we knew that Jalen Darden was kind of on his heels with that, and that could be a possibility. So,
it appears Darden's going to be the punt and kick returner. They tried Vaughn out, and then when he fumbled in that Texans game, that like ruined his shot at the return game. So it looks like Darden's got it, which is neat because I think he's got some pizzazz to him. I'd like to see him.
Yeah, he's fun.
Yeah. First preseason games, he was juking people out, but then the next 2, he just kind of
And someone on Twitter was like, I cringe every time Jalen Darden goes to return the ball. But that's how I feel about Jaden Mickens. Every time. I'm like, he's made some bad plays and moves last season. So let's move on from it. Let's give Jalen Darden a shot at it. Because
keep throwing stuff at the wall. Maybe something will stick.
It's been really hard to find somebody consistent in that position.
Yeah. Well, nowadays with the new rules and everything, it's just hard to find anybody that can do anything back there.
Yeah.
So that's position. It's just not that important anymore. It sucks because I always loved kick returns. Were always exciting, and punt returns. But now anymore, you're just like,
They can be momentum shifting. I mean, they can just completely change a game. Yeah,
well, look at what Devin Hester did with Chicago. I mean, he basically took them to the Super Bowl and then, scored the opening kickoff a touchdown in the Super Bowl. It was just like, whoa. And that was really all Chicago had at that point.
I know. Did he make the Hall of Fame? I know he was in the Hall of Fame conversation specifically because of what he did on special teams.
He should have. I mean, he was the last of the, and probably the best returner. Are you looking it up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hall of Fame. Yeah. Devin Hester Hall of Fame. First thing that came up.
Did he make it?
No. Oh, he's eligible in 2022.
Wow, really? You're eligible 5 years after you retire, so that means he retired 4 years ago?
Yeah. Yeah, in 2022.
Interesting.
Yeah. So we'll see. I think, but the only reason his name is even mentioned is because of his special teams play.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, you would forget about him if he wasn't so spectacular on special teams because he didn't do that. I mean, he was a good receiver, but he wasn't, Hall of Fame worthy for sure.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So all of our draft picks are with our team and all on the roster on the 53, not on the practice squad, except for Chris Wilcox, cornerback. Like I said, he was claimed by the Colts immediately. Now, the Buccaneers didn't get any waiver claims process. We did not get anybody off the waiver wire, but we did have one taken from us, and that was a cornerback. So we've added 11 guys to our practice squad now. One of them is defensive tackle Benning Patoade. So
Damn it.
You're going to have to say his name again probably
and
at some
butcher
point.
it every time. Every time.
I don't think I said it right either.
I think it's Patoe.
Patoe. So we kept the 3 wide receivers. Travis Jonsen we brought back. Jaden Mickens we brought back. And Cyril Grayson we brought back to the practice squad. Cyril.
Okay.
Guess who else we brought back? Safety Andrew Adams.
Okay.
We signed him to the practice squad. Now, he is one of the very few free agents that left the Buccaneers during the offseason. And
Where
now
did
he's
he
back.
go again?
The Eagles.
Okay.
Yeah. Went to the Eagles. They released him. We picked him up and signed him to the practice squad. We added defensive tackle Kobe Smith, tight end Codey McElroy. And we signed him to the practice squad. It's very strange that we cut 2 tight ends and brought one of them back to the practice squad. Because like I said, we normally keep 4 tight ends. Mm-hmm. So what are we going to do with that extra available position? Quarterback Ryan Griffin, he was cut, brought him back to the practice squad, although we all expected that to happen. We weren't going to do that with Kyle Trask because we knew somebody would have picked him up. And so we did it to Ryan Griffin.
Didn't have that same concern with Ryan Griffin.
Nobody wants him, man. Guy's been in the league for
I like him
9
though.
years now.
If for nothing else, Tom Brady's wingman.
Yes. Quarterback, yeah, he held Tom Brady up when he was drunk. That's
He'll be forever remembered. We will always remember him for that. Thank you, Ryan Griffin, for your service.
Cornerback Herb Miller is signed to the practice squad. Offensive lineman Brandon Walton. And then we signed running back Darwin Thompson. He played with the Chiefs. He was a 6th-round pick in 2019. Didn't do a whole lot. I think he scored 3 touchdowns with them in the past 2 seasons.
Just off the top of your head.
It actually is. I don't have it written down.
Did you look at him for fantasy? Is that how you know that?
No. No, it came up when I was looking up his stats. But
Gotcha.
he averaged 3.4 yards and like 64 carries. And all. Not a whole lot. He hasn't done a whole lot in the league, so he's now on our practice squad. Again, these practice squad players, they're going to be churned all year long. They'll be cut or released and picked back up, and we'll pick up other guys. It's one thing this coaching staff loves to do is churn the bottom of our roster in our practice squad. Mm-hmm. But it was interesting that we put Codey McElroy on there.
Yeah.
Tanner Hudson, these guys are not going to be coming back to the team. Tanner Hudson.
Wait, I have one more practice squad addition. This just happened. Tight end Deion Yelder from the Chiefs. We keep getting all these 2 Chiefs players.
Yeah.
So.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
So we cut Tanner Hudson.
Yeah.
We cut McElroy. We bring McElroy back on the practice squad and then go out and get another tight end.
Yeah. They were done with Tanner Hudson shit.
Yeah, something.
Apparently. Well, I don't know if it's because Tanner got picked up from San Francisco before we could get him.
I think we would have brought him back quicker. We got the only one was Wilcox Wilcox, who didn't make it through waivers.
Oh,
Tanner
I see.
didn't get picked up on waivers.
I'm with you. Okay.
Yeah, it was like 2 days later, a day later, that he got signed. So he's not coming back. Tanner Hudson's gone. That's it. Safety Javon Hagan, our leading tackler of the preseason, he's not coming back. And then, of course, Chris Wilcox, who was claimed by the Colts, not coming back. But other than that, I think we did pretty good. Ledbetter, we don't know yet, but it's just weird that he's still just kind of floating out there.
Yeah, we still have 3 spots left on the practice squad. That's what Greg Allman is tweeting.
After this last tight end?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So still filling that out.
Yeah, and some Buck news. We've got Mike Evans' contract. He restructured his contract.
Again.
Yeah. You got details on that?
Yeah, let me find him. Hold on. Okay. Sorry. So that happened on Monday or Tuesday. What they're doing, they're converting his base salary is $12.25 million. So they're shifting it to the veteran minimum of $1.075 million and converting $11.18 million to a bonus. So the bonus is he gets the bonus now, but the cap hit is prorated over his remaining years on his contract. So
that's like guaranteed money. He's going to be getting that.
Yeah. And so the savings is $8.9 million. So we freed up some space there. And
yeah, we only had like $200,000 left in the cap.
Well, and all this is not going to be used on the practice squad. I mean, practice squad hit is going to be... Does that even count? No, that doesn't count towards the cap, right? Because it's the top 53 that counts towards the cap.
Yeah.
So why are we freeing up this money?
Practice squad players get a set amount.
Right.
Depending on how many years they've been in the league. Yeah.
So... I mean, we did need the cap room, but that's kind of a lot to have. Yeah, we can sign some big veterans if we need to or want to. So that's not, Evans has done this almost every year, and he even offered to take a pay cut in February. Remember that to keep our guys, but our front office just worked magic. They're amazing.
They are. They're incredible, and the thing I really like about them, that they've done for years and years and years, is we never have dead cap space.
I know.
Never.
I know. You see other teams, they have like 30, 40 million, especially from these dumb contracts they give the quarterbacks. And we might have like 80,000. Like compared to 30 million. We might have 80,000 in dead cap. It's just incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. And to have amassed a team like this doing that, these guys are geniuses, man. So, we got Mike Evans. He's just been a team player with this stuff. Almost every year he's restructured. And just like I said in February, he was like, I will take less money to make sure we keep these guys. And luckily, he didn't have to. I think he's making close to $17 million this year. So that's great. He gets his money. Everybody gets their money. You love to see it.
Yeah.
We had 8 players in the top 100. I think Brady came in at 7.
Yeah.
Way underrated. I was like, what? It was like
Did
2
Pat
minimum.
Mahomes get rated better than him?
Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah.
Was he number 1?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking. I don't know I don't know. I didn't see the top 10 at all.
But we had the most players.
Well, as we should have.
Yeah, I
Super Bowl champs. Hello.
Yeah, I don't think they were positioned accordingly, but
Right.
we had 8 players. And
Yeah.
the second, let's see, the Chiefs and the Packers both had 7. So
Okay.
we beat everybody in that. So,
Yeah.
I thought they were all way too low. I mean, how do you put Tom Brady at number 7? How? I just
know.
don't get it.
He should be number 1 every year.
Yeah, just on this.
ridiculous.
Yeah, because people can't figure him out. They can't figure out why he has won so many damn Super Bowls. You can't figure it out. There's got to be something there. You got to give him recognition for that. Yeah, Josh Allen was number 10. T.J. Watt was number 9. DeAndre Hopkins was number 8. Brady was 7.
He's with DeAndre Hopkins.
And under Devontae Adams. And Travis Kelce. They say Travis Kelce is better than Tom Brady.
Stop it.
And then Derrick Henry is 4. Aaron Rodgers was 3. Aaron Donald was 2. And then Patrick Mahomes again was number 1.
God, what the fuck?
Yeah.
The dude lost the Super Bowl.
Hey. But he looked good when he was doing it. Didn't you see those
The
crazy
next
throws he did?
coming of Michael Jordan.
So, we won in that. We got the most players. So there. Boom. Okay.
I'm still not happy about it, but okay.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll talk about this here in a second.
Okay.
I'm kind of stuck between 2 things. I want to go over some stadium stuff for this year. The Bucs, the Bucs have put a lot of money in the stadium over the past few years, and they've added a lot of new features this year. We've got the Champions Lounge. It's going to be in the East Stadium Club. It's going to feature a new high-end seating area. It's going to be all-inclusive, includes a premium bar, culinary stations, and a craft cocktail stations where beverages are going to be served in a souvenir Buccaneers glass. How about that? Yes.
How much does that cost?
Well, club seating.
I know.
Yeah.
Right, but the cocktails aren't free either. Probably
Yeah, right.
a $20 cocktail.
Probably. Well, listen to the cost on this one. The Buccaneers are now going to have an official tailgate party.
Ooh.
Yes, it's going to be 3 hours prior to kickoff. Fans can attend the tailgate party hosted by the Bucs, located directly outside the stadium. I imagine it's going to be in the grass parking area. It's going to include an assortment of beverages, food from the grill, music, and games, which, they've always had little spots of entertainment all over the place, but now it's going to be an official tailgate party. That's going to cost, I'd take a guess.
Okay, so it's like an add-on when you're buying.
Yeah,
your
this is
seats.
not free.
Okay. $500.
Ooh, god damn. No, 125.
Oh, I'd pay that much?
Yeah, but it's 100 for season pass members.
Oh, okay.
Now, I don't know if that includes free beer and food or not, but the availability is limited through reserve. So you got a reservation, so you got to call the sales representative or contact Buccaneers through email. They got an email address, but I'm not going to sit here and read it. It's kind of stupid.
Okay. You can find it online, guys.
Yeah. They're having a Junior Bucs experience. This is for the kids. It's going to be open to all children and families attending the Bucs game. You have to have a ticket, though, to the game. It's going to have inflatable football activities, interactive Play 60 football clinics, visits from Captain Fear, and the cheerleaders.
Woo!
Yeah. It's going to be free of charge, though.
Oh, okay.
But you do have to have a ticket.
And you have to be a child, right?
What's that?
You have to be a child.
Yeah, you have to bring. You have to have a child. The parents can come, but you
one. Oh, okay.
You have to have a kid.
Okay.
You can't go straight from the tailgate to the Junior Bucs experience with no kid. They have a Bucs Beach in the stadium. This is going to be in the South Plaza. So
they're making a beach.
Yes. It's going to have palm trees, sand, entertainment. Now, they tried this a couple of times over the past few years, but now that's going to be a feature, apparently. They're going to have hammocks. in their rotation of live performance before kickoff. It's going to open up 3.5 hours before kickoff and close at the start of the game. So just fun stuff. The Bucs have always done great with their entertainment before.
I love their stadium. I mean, it's the
so
best stadium.
Yeah.
And it's such a good atmosphere. I think they do a really great job with that. Like they have
very party
bands all over the place. So you're just walking and you hear live music. It's so cool. They have this ship that's kind of a little float that they drive around through the parking lots.
With them throwing the beads and stuff.
They throw the beads. Yeah. It's a great stadium. It's beautiful. If you have not had a chance to go to the stadium to see the Buccaneers, you absolutely have to.
Put it on your bucket list, man.
Beautiful.
Definitely worth it. And we haven't gone since they've got the new Jumbotrons and stuff up.
Nope.
We went to back when they had the LED bulbs and stuff. So,
gosh, have we not been since 2013?
No,
that's when
we went
married.
like 4 years ago, didn't we?
Remember?
My gosh, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's a fact check follow-up.
I know. Oh, we went to training camp. That was the last thing that we did. So that was 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
That was the last thing. We didn't go to a game then, did we? It was just training camp.
We haven't been to a game since 2013.
Wow.
Oh my
gosh.
gosh.
Back with Shiano. Oh my gosh.
I know.
Yeah, we need to do something about that.
I know. All the tickets are sold out this season completely. They're completely sold out.
Yeah.
So Brian Ford announced today. For
the whole year.
Yes. Wow. Every game.
And they ain't cheap either.
No.
Even the nosebleeds are expensive this year. Face mask in the stadium, not mandatory. Unless you work there. Then they're mandatory.
Ugh, I hate that.
I know.
I know.
You have issues with face mask.
Yeah, they've been making me really sick.
Yes, you've actually contacted your work because when you go into work, you have to wear a face mask, and they are making you physically ill. So I don't know how people can. Fortunately, I don't have to wear a face mask all day, and I can't. I mean, normally if I wear a face mask for even 15, 20 minutes, I'm constantly having to pull it off. I can't breathe
and that
correctly.
Like defeats the whole purpose because you're touching it. Like,
I'm touching it and all this and pulling it from my face, and I don't know how some of these people wear face masks.
I know, and
doing tough jobs, working concessions
for long periods of time, and those people have to be hot. Like it's hot in Florida. I don't know if you guys know this, but it's very hot and humid.
Surprise.
And I don't understand how you could nightmare. I couldn't handle it.
Yes,
couldn't do it.
Yeah, and that's regardless of vaccination status. The people working inside the stadium will be wearing face masks. Now, this is something interesting I found out. The Raymond James Stadium is also going cashless.
Oh, they are.
Yep.
We had talked about that with one of the other stadiums.
I think it was Washington.
I think so.
Yes. I think this is going to be a league-wide thing. All retail and food and beverage locations will be cashless, and all tickets and parking will be cashless. So you have to bring a ticket in on mobile, and it's going to be a touchless ticket scanner. Now, how you do that if you don't own a mobile phone, I don't know.
I think everyone basically does. Or you can get it printed, right? Can you print
What's the difference? No, I don't know.
I don't know.
Going to be scanned.
Yeah,
it's mobile and touchless.
Right, but I think
scanners.
the scan would work on a piece of
I think
paper.
you're right. Yeah. They're going to scan the tickets. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the new stuff at the stadium this year. So some pretty exciting stuff.
I think the beach would be cool. If any of you guys go to the stadium and get a picture at the little beach, send it to us. I want to see it.
Yes. The Buccaneers have unveiled their new Super Bowl 55 license plates.
Oh, I saw that today.
Yeah, they're pretty neat. You got the flag and the trophy underneath it.
And it's a pewter background.
Pewter background. Mm-hmm. So if you're interested in getting that, go to playinflorida.com/Bucks. You can order your commemorative license plates. So, do you have any more Bucks news?
I do not. No, that's it.
Okay.
Great job, Ralph.
So, around the league, NFC South in particular, the New Orleans Saints are not going to open their game at the Superdome. This was just announced
because of the hurricane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I haven't been following what's happening down there like at all. Is it awful? I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, I watched the live stream of it and stuff. It wasn't near as bad as Katrina, of course, and there were some deaths, not many. Mm-hmm. The big thing now is power outages. A bunch of people are hundreds of thousands without power, and it'll probably be a while before it comes back on. It was fallen trees and damage, but the flooding didn't happen like everybody feared. The Superdome didn't have much damage to it, and it survived Katrina, but for some reason and I think it's probably due to the access getting to the Superdome.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. The infrastructure surrounding area might have made it difficult.
So
where are they going to play?
That's what I was going to say. Jacksonville.
Okay.
And they're playing the Packers. And you know how Aaron Rodgers can't stand the heat. So I think they did that on purpose. They were like, where can we play? That's really hot. So, and both, but the Saints, they play in a dome. So they got that kind of AstroTurf.
It would have been fine.
Jacksonville's got natural grass. So it's good. It's an advantage to both teams in one sense and a disadvantage in another. So I guess at Jacksonville, Saints will be considered a home field advantage because they're going to be the home team. But you remember when that happened to us, the hurricane, it was a few years ago, and we had to miss our first opener, and we lost our bye. Our bye was in week 1. That was quite a few years ago. Yeah.
Vaguely.
Yeah. So these hurricanes mess up us southern teams.
I know. It should be over soon, right?
Yeah.
I think it runs through October, maybe November.
Mm-hmm. That's all I got for the NFC South.
Oh, I have some NFC South news. The Panther, and this happened quite a few days ago, but Panthers traded a conditional 7th round pick to the Giants for kicker Ryan Santoso. So I'm like, I know. Trading for a kicker. Interesting. And then they also traded linebacker Denzel Perryman to the Raiders. So they were pretty active that day. And they had one more offensive lineman. The Bills defensive lineman. They traded defensive end Darryl Johnson to the Panthers. So they were pretty active this last week with trades. And I think I had one more, but let me find... No, okay, that was it. And... Okay, so then I've got league news. I'm going to talk about the league news. First, I'm going to start with Gardner Minshew getting traded from Jacksonville to the Eagles, which was interesting because the Eagles were talking about possibly trading for Deshaun Watson. Well, what happened there? No one knows. Yeah. Sure, someone knows. Anyway, they got Gardner Minshew instead, and they released Nick Mullins to make room for Gardner. So that'll be interesting. Gardner Minshew is definitely a personality. He's very much a showman. He's interesting.
I liked him.
I don't know about his chops as far as quarterback goes. I haven't watched him a lot, but he's certainly memorable.
Yes, and I think a lot of Jacksonville fans are kind of upset about that. I'm not sure, but I would be if I was in Jacksonville because I liked Minshew. He had that gunslinger mentality where he's going to do what it takes to win. And I liked it. I thought it was interesting. Oh, and, I can't believe we missed this, and it's probably because it's a couple days. But Jameis Winston is now the starter for the New Orleans Saints.
God, I did not realize how many Jameis stands are still out there because on our last podcast, we got some comments from you freaks. And I'm just kidding. I kid. But a lot of people, people have such short memories. We defended Jameis Winston.
Oh, yeah.
the whole podcast, the whole start of our podcast. What we said was, and we were consistent in this, we supported Jameis Winston, but his decision-making needed to improve. And we're saying the same thing now. In New Orleans, we're not confident that it has improved. And so we supported Jameis. Even after he was cut, we said we hope he succeeds. And then he went to New Orleans and was dead to us because that's a division rival. And, forget you.
Yeah, you're now enemy.
You're an enemy. So
fair game.
Yeah, that's where we are. And looking forward to picking him off in week 7.
Yes.
At least twice.
I've rewatched the passes he did against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, one, you got to think about that. He played against the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are a horrible team, especially their secondary.
I mean, they've been in rebuild mode for I don't know.
Yeah.
10 years.
Right. And I'm not even sure if it was a first string defense out there that was playing against Jameis Winston. So, you got to keep that in consideration. He was playing against a not very good team. And he did the same things he did with us that we complained about all the time. He stared down his receivers. He made bad decisions, and I'll say it was the wide receiver who made spectacular catches. I mean, the first pass he threw, there were 3 guys covering that guy, and it should have been intercepted. Now, one of the guys that was covering dropped down for some reason. I don't know what happened there, but the 2 Jacksonville guys converged on each other and ended up knocking each other off the ball. It should have, it was the bad decision, I thought, that Jameis Winston threw the ball. And then the second one, that was just a great catch by the wide receiver. And, the cornerback was right there. So, he stared down receivers. He didn't really scan the field. He was, the only thing he didn't do was get happy feet in that game.
He didn't have the chance.
Right. So, I'm confident in the fact that he's pretty much the same Jameis.
Yeah.
And the Saints fans are not used to this, and they're excited about it because that touchdown he threw was the longest touchdown that the Saints have had in 4 years, 5 years.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I mean, Drew Brees hasn't had an arm in how long?
They're used to this dink and dunk stuff. And, Jameis comes in and starts throwing these bombs. They're all excited, but they're getting all the other stuff too that is the exact opposite of Drew Brees. Like, Drew Brees never got happy feet. Drew Brees was very protective of the ball. I mean, he just does not throw interceptions, and he doesn't get sacked, and he didn't fumble. Those are all 3 things you're going to get with Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
So, we're excited about it. I'm thrilled to death that he's going to be the starter.
Well, and I think no matter which way it goes, the question is going to be answered.
Right. Yes.
Is it the LASIK? Is the LASIK going to help him?
Right. Yeah.
And was it coaching?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's been through 2 coaches 3 really, in Tampa. Levy, Dirk Cutter. Yep. Bruce Arians was pretty consistent with his issues through those 3 coaches. So we'll see if Sean Payton could fix it. Bruce Arians, the quarterback whisperer, could not. So, let Sean Payton have a crack at it and then come see us in a year. Right.
Exactly. I think it's going to be a great test of everything we've said. And this is going to be a deciding thing. It's kind of like with Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. That question was answered to me.
Yeah.
Definitively. Which was a shock because I was on the other side. I thought it was more Bill Belichick than it was Tom Brady.
I agree. Me too.
Totally shocked by that. Which brings us to the next.
Oh, these segues.
The segue. I know. Bam. Spot on.
Cam Newton got cut from the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Very surprising. Shocked everybody.
They're going to go with that rookie. I forget what his name was.
Mark.
I don't really care. I just don't.
We're playing him this year, but.
I know. Yeah, we'll see him. So.
Mark Jones?
Mac
Jones.
Cam, I don't know. It was, it was bizarre when Bill Belichick brought him in to begin with and then
Yes.
stuck with him all of last year.
Yeah,
and
very,
then
very surprising to me.
Yeah.
That was really when I went, man, Bill Belichick is not the great coach I thought he was.
And then at the end of the season, he becomes a free agent and they re-sign him. And you're like, what are you doing? And so I am a little surprised that he got through the preseason and then they cut him. Because to me, I thought he would be the starter. I didn't know that job was up for grabs.
Yeah, I figured they would start him until Mac Jones got a little bit of time under his belt and then throw him out there after Cam Newton started stinking it up around week 6.
Or got hurt.
Yeah. The ex-cornerback Asante Samuel, who played with the Patriots for 5 seasons, won 2 Super Bowls with them, was an All-Pro in 2007, said that Belichick is just another coach without Tom Brady, and that he said that the cutting Cam Newton was cold-hearted, but it's what you expect from Belichick because that whole organization is not very fun to play with, which you get that from a lot of ex-players.
Yeah, we've heard that from quite a few people.
Mm-hmm. They're very business and cold.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you saw how they treated Tom Brady in the end.
Yeah,
I mean, they just let him. So
it's a horrible, horrible decision.
I know.
I think they're realizing that now. They think that Mac Jones is going to be another Tom Brady or that Belichick's going to be able to perform the same magic, and I don't think so. I think it wasn't Belichick, and I think we're going to see the same thing with Sean Payton. Sean Payton's always had Drew Brees there. Now Drew Brees is gone. We're going to find out if Sean Payton is this offensive guru.
Yeah, and that team is a disaster.
Who, New Orleans?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I think just they've had a lot of really weird personnel issues, like the Michael Thomas stuff, like the Will Lutz having to get the surgery. They're not. So I don't know.
Yeah,
and the
don't
Alvin
have very
Kamara
good
stuff
communication.
Despite Sean Payton's communications degree. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
it kills me that a journalist did not know because they were writing the communication, that article about Michael Thomas.
Yes. Why does that surprise you that a journalist didn't know something?
Because it's a journalism degree. Communications is a journalism degree.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's a journalist, not Anyway.
Well, sports journalists don't have degrees usually, do they?
Actually, I was in the J School program at the University of Maryland, and sports journalism was the most competitive to get into. It was extremely difficult. So, I don't know.
Yeah, of all the journalism, that'd be the most fun one to do. Good Lord.
Everybody wanted to. And then University of Maryland is a huge team, sports program. So I was not into sports then, but.
Yeah. Now, with the whole Belichick and Cam Newton stuff, and I've been saying that to me, it's quite definitive that Tom Brady was the reason why New England was as good as it was for as long as it was. It wasn't Belichick. Chris Sims, our ex-quarterback, who is also a announcer and analyst and all that for a lot of different shows, he says the exact opposite. Now, he worked on the staff of New England after he quit football. And he said on the Russ Tucker football podcast that Tom Brady was a product of the Patriots system. He said that Tom Brady threw to the most open receivers in NFL history. And he had stats to back that up. That they didn't run any bootlegs because Tom Brady can't do it. And they didn't do 3-step drops because Tom Brady's not comfortable with them. And it is true, we don't do a lot of bootlegs or 3-step drops with Tom Brady. It's just not in his wheelhouse. But to say that Belichick created Brady, I think is just disingenuous. I don't agree with it.
He said that after, recently?
Yeah, after the Cam Newton thing. He was saying that, Belichick is going to make Mac Jones a great quarterback. But in response to that, and I love this, somebody posted, and they said, it still amazes me how Brady's numbers from last season with Sims' former team, the Buccaneers, Brady had 4,600 yards and 40 touchdowns, are better than Chris Sims' entire 5-year career.
Ooh,
so it's been, it was a smackdown. I was like, whoa. I don't know if all that's correct, but I was just like, whoa, talk about telling somebody to shut up in a away without saying shut up. But, you know, some people believe that Tom Brady is a product of Bill Belichick. I believe that the Patriots organization itself was a product of Tom Brady. I think we're seeing it. We saw it last year take a dive, and I don't think it's going to come back up.
Well, there was an interview with, I cannot remember who it was, some defensive player, I want to say a linebacker, was on the Pat McAfee show and talked about the Patriots organization, and he was saying how Bill Belichick, when he's having these team meetings, he would just drone on and on for like 45 minutes about the structure of the opponents, their coaching tree, where they came from. So the history of the organization, everything. Well, and I think it was more, he was trying to convey the philosophical underpinnings of whatever team you were about to face. And I think that Tom Brady probably absorbed that information and translated it to the team, so he was able to use that information to lead the guys on the field. And that's how it worked. So it was maybe a little bit of Belichick, his knowledge, and then it got translated through Brady to everybody else. But with Brady gone, no one, I think, at the organization probably values that information or knows how to even use it to, beat their opponent. And so I think that's probably why it's not working the way that it was under Brady. So, there was probably it might have been a combination of the two at the Patriots, but you can't discount the fact that Tom Brady succeeded without Belichick, and Belichick has yet to succeed without Tom Brady.
Yes. Yeah. In a completely different system,
Exactly.
Tom Brady went without much prep. We didn't have preseason last year, all that good stuff. To me, it was unbelievably incredible what Tom Brady did. Not that he came to a crappy team and turned it around. We were a good team. I felt that we were, Super Bowl level. We just didn't have the leadership in the quarterback. That's what I expected Tom Brady to come and do. Just come and not make mistakes. That was really where Jameis Winston, just couldn't get us above that level. He just made too many mistakes. But I didn't expect Tom Brady to come in and bring Gronkowski and AB and just, basically turn the whole culture of this team around in such a short amount of time. So there's that. We're going to do it again this year, guys.
Yeah.
All right. I'm finished.
I'm done too.
All right. This was a little bit of a long one, but that's because we didn't make one Monday. Guys, we do appreciate you listening to us. If you get a chance, hit the like button, the subscribe button, any other button that you can think of to help us on whatever platform you're listening to. Get the word out there. Share this. Let people know that there's some good information, good entertainment for the Buccaneers fan base. But that's going to wrap it up for us. Till next time.
Go Bucks.